Hi everyone, I'm going to talk about Jupiter in Cancer and when do you start seeing its full effects. Now, I'm going to start by saying that what you see or how it manifests Jupiter in Cancer for you depends on your age, stage, and where you are at in life. What's happening in your personal life, your energies, your life path, the cycles you're in. The other thing I want to say is, yes, there's Jupiter in Cancer and it's great, but we still always will have a Saturn or a Mars or a Pluto or a Uranus. So all those effects, those energies will be a part of our lives. So it's not just a singular thing we're focused on, but having said that, I'm going to focus on this now. Now, Jupiter has its morning rise. Now, I'm going to sound technical, but I'll explain the meaning of everything. So, Jupiter has its morning rise. It becomes a morning star on the 15th or the 16th of July. So, Jupiter shifts from evening star to morning star. And in ancient Egypt, heliacal rise of a star or a planet was considered a rebirth and all that it represents. So as Jupiter returns to the sky after a period of invisibility, and I want you to think about invisibility as inaccessible or behind closed doors, there can be a return to or reemergence of hope, of wisdom, of justice, integrity, abundance, and more, dreams and hopes as well. Now, your attempts to grow and expand, to explore, to look at new opportunities and adventures, to find new horizons, or to live with more integrity and to have a happier, more connected life, more successful life, those attempts, those efforts, those energies can be more successful and more effective once Jupiter has returned to visibility, which it does from the 15th, 16th of July. Now, Jupiter is moving forward at good speed, so it's increasingly effective moving forward week by week, month by month, and it will continue in this morning star phase until it stations retrograde around the 10th of November. Now, the heliacal rise is understood as an appearance that speaks to, encounters and ideas that form part of your experience around July 15th. They may be part of the auspicious omens for you as Jupiter reappears in the east, in the eastern horizon. So pay attention to who you speak to, what ideas come to your mind, who you communicate with, even what ideas or epiphanies sort of spark your brain, if you will. They may provide support or help for your experiences and plans around the topics of your life that you're trying to grow and expand. So you may clarify your vision or you settle into a pathway that feels, I suppose, meaningful and nourishing. Intuitions, ideas, hunches, epiphanies that emerge around 15th, 16th of July might act as an sort of this flashlight that's clarifying, and it will give you confidence for the future. So now, one thing to keep in mind also is Jupiter will continue in Cancer, and it will be in Cancer until the 30th of June 2026. But it's direct and a morning star between 15th of July and the 10th of November. So that is the maximum support sort of vibe of Jupiter in terms of offering affirmations, abundance, and again, care and sort of opportunities and whatever you're looking for. It's an especially active and forward-oriented quality for Jupiter to be in during this time frame. And again, that is 15th of July to the 10th of November. That doesn't mean the outside periods of that are ineffective. It's just that within that broader period, the sub-period, this period, 15th of July to the 10th of November is most effective. Jupiter will remain visible in the sky until 10th of July 2026, but we won't worry about that now. Now, we've got to keep into account that Jupiter has to interact with Saturn and Mars, and of course Venus in a good way, whilst it's in Cancer. So patterns or aspects from other planets do color the journey that we're going to experience, the growth journey, the abundance journey we're going to experience, if you like. So the first part to keep in mind is when Jupiter is in Cancer and Saturn is in Aries, and I know I'm talking technical here, but just bear with me. That period for Saturn and Jupiter overlap is late May into early September, and again from mid-February to late June of 2026. So what that means is Jupiter will be most free from limitations or hindrances when Saturn returns to Pisces, and that is between 1st of September to the 14th of February 2026. That is, Jupiter is free from Saturn's limitations or restrictions, if you like. So this period, this translates to like a super useful, free from fear and barriers version of Jupiter in Cancer. Now, the one more period I want to highlight, and it's not the end of the world, to be honest, but when Mars is in Libra between 6th of August to the 22nd of September, it will create a sign-based square to Jupiter. So we've got to factor in these dates in as well. Then the most free from outside interference expression of Jupiter in Cancer as a morning star when it's direct. That is 22nd of September to the 10th of November of 2025. Now, again, I repeat, I don't want you to think that outside of this period, Jupiter is ineffective. It's just that we do have some iffiness or some outside factors, some pressures, some variables to sort of account for or deal with. Now, going back to Mars, with Mars in the mix, there can be some irritation or distraction, or we have to navigate tension or a difference of opinions in terms of our plans for growth and abundance and hopes and dreams. Mars can be disruptive, or it can interrupt sometimes rhythms and plans, and therefore they need changes and updates. Now, again, that Mars period is 6th of August to the 22nd of September. Jupiter in Cancer may be especially useful during this period where it is direct in morning star without Mars or Saturn in the mix. So that becomes, I repeat, 22nd of September to the 10th of November. Now, the brilliant part, my favorite part, when Venus is in Libra. Venus is in Libra 13th of October to the 6th of November. And it's sort of interacting with Jupiter by an aspect. It adds additional support to the themes of Jupiter for this window of time. So the best of Jupiter in Cancer, layering all these pieces, and I say best, all of Jupiter in Cancer is pretty useful. I'll take Jupiter in Cancer any day in any condition. But the best of Jupiter in Cancer, 12 months, the juiciest period, is when Jupiter is in as a morning star, it's direct and is free from Saturn and Mars, and that is 22nd of September to the 10th of November, with an extra lift or extra support, extra oomph, extra bounce from Venus between the 13th of October and the 6th of November. So if you want to keep these windows sort of in mind, or you want to mark them on your calendar, is when a lot of the things that you're working on start to come together. Now, the other thing I want to highlight is Jupiter will go retrograde in November, as I said, and it stations direct in March. And it stations direct at a degree of what we call Jupiter's greatest exaltation degree in the sign of Cancer. That is, it's the strongest at that degree in the sign of Cancer. So that turnaround of Jupiter, that turn of direction, reorientation from backwards to forwards that happens in March will prove to be significant in some way. That's March 2026 I'll speak about. So there's a lot to look forward to. There's a lot of juicy periods for Jupiter in Cancer. But the one thing I wanted to highlight and why I wanted to share this piece with you is if you're still navigating some difficulties or some limitations or some restrictions or some worries or some fears, and you're going, well, Jupiter is in Cancer, where's the blessings? They are coming. They've already started, and they'll become more clear, more easily accessible, and they'll show their effects more easily, more clearly, more abundantly in the time frames that I mentioned. I hope that helps, and I wish you lots of good luck. Have a good Jupiter in Cancer.